too many Bumblebees out there, yet all they had to do to get my interest again was apparently turn him into a truck. In 2018, Travis Knight gave us the first time in a long time a live-action Transformers film not directed by Michael Bay, and to a lot of people it was a nice change-up. Bumblebee, the live-action prequel that's also apparently not a prequel, confusing I know, takes place in the 80s with the named title star scouting on his own. With the help of Charlie, they'll both find themselves again in this new sitcom, or at least it sounds like the start of a sitcom pitch. Bumblebee had gotten multiple forms to make marketing happy, including this Jeep form, the first Earth mode he had taken in the movie, and was continued during his face-off with a certain non-Starscream. There have been a ton of misses with Studio Series. Bumblebee has seen so many forms and repaints that the whole line became oversaturated. I understand to a degree, kids love him, toys were sold, and with so many years being in the films with no film sharing the same exact form, there's a lot to get through. But then again, even Studio Series just slapped a whole bunch of repaints. I don't need all of that. Actually, it would be refreshing to see him take a very different form, but even that didn't work out. There was a wave with 2 whole Bumblebees! Cool it! Not great. Hey, look everybody! Big, blown-up, self-centered Bumblebee here is a Jeep! What, do you think that's gonna be good enough? Do you think I care anymore? Do you think this is gonna change my mind? Why, yes. Yes, it does. I love this! Come to think of it, the Army Jeep form seems so perfect for the little scout. This was used in the film for about 5 minutes, so it may seem like they're really reaching for an excuse to shoehorn another Bumblebee, but I can't argue with results, especially if it means his opponent is coming. Oh, and another good thing is that at the beginning, he still had a voice, so until then, no R2-D2 radio station. Yeah, it got annoying, but I think Travis showed the character gimmick could work. I'm good if he's planned the touch. Or, you know what? I want to hear Markiplier. It's certainly small comparing it to Siege Hound, which is pretty much this if it was in space. But I dig it. Fits perfect for the old Minibot and Scout, to get in and out of the action and slip in unseen, even if it didn't work. Was it the color too flashy? Well, I'm just gonna say it. Brawn repaint. Think about it. This is a pretty open vehicle, so tucking away all the components is not to be expected, especially with the arms, but look at the canopy. It's got all the kicks, seats, steering wheel, and even a molded dashboard. Hop on, Lego people! It's a tight fit, you'll have to move the seats, but if you know the Universe Classics Ravage and Hound, well, you can do it. The entire back bed is left flat, and the back shows a molded spare wheel with a gas can off to the side, right above these little red dots that are either brake lights or there's a sniper nearby. Wheels roll, but not well. If you notice a scraping sound, there's a joint here in the way. It still spins, but it's nearly impossible on a smooth surface. I've also noticed on the panel above, these L-shaped tabs already have stress marks. I didn't even convert it and I saw this. I'm also scared to move down the windshield during transformation. The thick paint and clear plastic, 2 evils that do not cancel each other out. Aside from this and the paint that doesn't match the molded plastic color, because even with Siege Sideswipe apparently we're still learning, and hood that's hard to tap in, those are my only issues, and they're not souring the mood. There's some interesting unique gaps between the legs, which you can take the gun, slide it in, and not only is this weapon storage, but it solidifies the form of the back. The truck itself seems pretty clean all around, and I love the bumper section. The round headlights on the Jeep also give it a more classic style, not only imitating his round eyes in general, but the original Volkswagen headlights in a similar shape. It's just a fun little truck to have all around. It's not a Camaro, and it's not a Volkswagen. Don't ask me to transform it just to make the comparison. It's just a small little Army Jeep in non-standard issue yellow, and because of it, there's some little touches and clean details that wind up impressing me. I didn't even realize the whole point of the butt port hinge is to fill in the legs and limit the gap. Very sneaky. Apparently all they had to do was make him a Jeep. Do I like this? Or do I like the fact this is blonde brawn? A good size amongst the other figures, I feel. I think people will pass up the chance to get this simply because of the oversaturated name. However, I gotta say, it has its charm. A car seen very little in the film, but apparently enough to make a figure. Robot mode. Is it possible to declare this in the running for the best Bumblebee? I mean, other than maybe the masterpiece, I love this thing. Is he perfect? No, but for what it's worth, I think they did a pretty good job imitating the mold in a transformative toy in a respectable way. He does still carry issues like the backpack, but at least it smooths itself down and doesn't get in the way. Well, until the wheels block the arms like a jock blocking the nerds in the hallway. Yeah, this is my only disappointment, but you still get the arm motion anyways. Besides, it could have been way worse. A lot of the Bumblebee movie characters who got more than one toy, have you ever noticed they get substantially better looking, taking time to really engineer the toy? This is simply better than the Volkswagen version. Say what you want about the weapon choice, but you can still bring the sword over to him. You could store the weapon using the gap in the peg, but it just hangs there. I found that if you do it correctly, you can put it inside the figure rather than use it like tree ornaments. I love how small and compact he is, but he's got pretty beefy boots and solid shoes. It's like the Scout can swing around, do some sweet ninja skills, and still make a stomp. The gunmetal and dark gray colors complement it well, and the chest, while fake ahead of the real bumper, looks good angled off with the clear headlights. I guess you can argue it's inaccurate. I'd like it clean, but technically the chest was beat up from a harpoon he got from a Sector 7 guy. What was his name? Oh yeah, his name was John Cena. The head sculpt is pretty much as expected, with the large puppy dog eyes and tiny antenna ears, typical movie style mouth, and radiators attached on the side. A little bit of paint, but the silver is so bright it's a little out of place. No face mask, but the eyes and logo are painted. Did someone say articulation? Head rotates, ball joint shoulders, rotation below, elbow bend, waist rotation, ball joint hips, rotation below, knee bend, hinge forward in the back, and ball joint foot. Bumblebee seems to have gotten some of the siege points of movement with the waist and foot. The ball joint really allows him to pose in various ways. Combine that with a good knee bend and head that... Oh, that doesn't look good. Seems like someone's already taken his voice box. That's technically a ball joint, but aside from the rotation, all you get is a slight tilt. It's pretty funny looking though. Maybe it's to work with a certain Decepticon, but for now, he fits in with the Rock'em Sock'em Battlemaster toys nobody wanted. Let's take a look at the accessories. Bumblebee comes with the arm cannon shaped to only fit the one side. Molded in gray plastic, some paint apps would be nice, but it follows through with the arm. Even breaks off to expose that yellow, like it's molded to the piece. No face mask, no blade, but honestly, the cannon and ability to still use the blade from the original toy is all good enough for me. The butt port folds up, but you can swing it and that's inappropriate.
Bumblebee, you have saved Earth, and now we're gonna go on an adventure. You see, we've gotta find the princess, and you've gotta help us.
He may be small, but what did you expect? His transformation, while it can be finicky, I feel is complex enough. Everything feels mostly filled in, even with the wheels in the lower legs. Oh, and you can puff up his chest if he gets mad. You're short. Well, I didn't think we could get a Bumblebee that would exceed my expectations. While I fully get the Bumblebee vibe, and I guess it's not completely refreshing, this is good enough to stand on his own as one of the better figures. Does he have problems? Yep, but that doesn't mean he's a bad toy. I'd say if you get the chance to pick him up and you could only have one Bumblebee from the movie, this, so far, is probably the best version to get. I think he's even one of the best in the line. This did not have enough 80s references.